5 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order, please.
Chairman Louis A. Trujillo,
Present.
Commissioner David Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Michael Montoya,
Present.
Commissioner Dave Romero,
Here.
Commissioner Elena Rodriguez.
Present.
Thank you, Chairman. We have a quorum.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to take a moment to thank you for all our employees. Glad everybody is back at work and everybody's healthy, and we stay that way while the employees are sick and their families. And it's over, and I hope we never have this happening again. And for Mr. Gallegos, and Thanksgiving for his 30 years of service to the city of Las Vegas. One of the most hardworking employees that I've seen in a long time, and I just pray that his retirement goes smoothly, and that him and his wife enjoy the retirement for a long time. Amen.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Romero,
make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
there's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Mr. Montoya. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero, second by Commissioner Montoya. Thank you, Chairman. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from August 19, 2020.
Mr. Romero,
Chair, make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
the motion on the floor by Mr. Romero. Second, please. Second by Mr. Ulibarri. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero, a second by Commissioner Lee. Thank you, Chairman. Motion carries.
Thank you, Barbara.
The next item on the agenda is public input. Nobody signed up for public input this evening. The next item on the agenda is the presentation. Our first presentation to Charlie Gallegos for 30 years of dedicated service to the City of Las Vegas Housing Authority. And I'll, our Executive Director, Terry Baca.
Mr. Baca?
We have this lovely plaque that Mr. Gallegos, this plaque should be 4 foot wide, so it should be a sheet of plywood, because 30 years is a long time. But it says 30 years of service, Charlie Gallegos, recognition of your hard work, loyal service to the Housing Authority throughout the years. We appreciate you. Thank you, City of Las Vegas, September 2020.
Charlie, would you like to say a couple of words?
Yeah, I enjoyed working for the city of Las Vegas. You know, I thank him for my job, and there's a lot of different things I learned here that we did. You know, I worked for the public facilities for a couple of years, and I went back to housing. So you know, it's back and forth. And there's a lot of experience doing this and doing that, which I like doing. You know. Did a lot of concrete work and all that for the city and for the housing. And a lot of remodeling at the housing, that's about it. And you're busy up there, you know, it's not a day that you're going to take a break, because there's always vacant units and we're always going.
Yeah.
It looks like, you know, we're taking it easy when we have to go get parts and go back. And it takes time, but we need to get these houses turned around as fast as we can. You know, they give us 7 days to turn a unit around, but someone, they really eat them up so bad, so it takes us a little longer than 7 days. But we get them, you know, we try to make ourselves up there, you know. And a lot of people look up to us, and then when we go for competition, when we go real dose and go for competition, we always take first place against anybody, so they separated all of us with individual other people, so now we play first, second, and third place. Because we go against each other with somebody else. But it's been fun. And thank you guys for my job.
Well, thank you for your work.
Take a picture from back
You
here.
know, his skills and dedication, this could
Thank
be
you,
hard to
Charlie. I
replace.
appreciate you.
Sorry.
Thank you for your service.
Get out of the way, so.
Yeah,
Come on over.
we need to get closer. No, I think that's good. Social distance will work. Thank you.
Congratulations, Charlie.
Thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Oh,
Charlie,
that's,
I'd like to thank Charlie because, Charlie has gotten involved in our community through the boxing arena. Back in 2002 to 2006, he was really involved and we helped him out with a place to have boxing for the kids and so forth. Charlie has always been one of those guys that has given it all, and for him to work here for 30 years, that's like a marriage. It's tough.
Thank you, yeah.
So,
And I like the boxing, and I like to, they want me to get involved again, but I don't know, it gets hard because it just costs too much, to take kids somewhere in that. It's a lot of responsibility.
but even in his own job, he took care of his job always.
Yep.
He knew what it was worth.
Yep.
He valued his job, so
Yeah.
I thank you, Charlie,
Oh,
for
thank
all
you.
you've done for the city of Las Vegas and the housing.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your words.
And Chairman and Commissioners, it's been an honor to work with Charlie all these years. I've been there 23 years. So I've known Charlie, he's like a family member too, and we always know Charlie's work. He does a stellar job at everything he does, and we are very much going to be at a loss without Charlie.
we are gonna be hurting. It's gonna be hard to replace him in any facet of that work.
Charlie was one of the first people I met when I came in housing.
Me too.
And he's a friend to everyone. That's the kind of person he is. so.
Oh, yeah.
So Charlie, were you a boxer yourself?
Yeah,
Were you a boxer yourself?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I fought, I was boxer and kickboxer. I fought for some road titles in kickboxing and that, up in Canada and up in El Paso and places like that.
Oh,
I did it because I like the sport. And then I try to do it for the kids here, and I tried hard, I try to, get them, keep them off the streets from all these drugs, that stuff, but it's just hard, and then,
Charlie used to have his kids on the basement of the old armory on Dulles.
Okay.
That's how far Charlie goes back with the kids.
Yeah, because I'd like to get my granddaughters into boxing. They like to box, but there's no place.
yeah. Well, the thing is, Carlos Crepin was gonna try to do something for the kids and all that, but,
I know.
they took them away from us.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen there.
That was
And
sad.
everybody's been trying to get me to go back into it, but a lot of responsibility and it's
It
a lot
is.
of dedication. It took a lot of my personal time away, to be there for these kids, because I had to be there every night, for at least 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Some parents would bring their kids and thought I was a babysitter.
Yeah.
Right.
Strong
I'm sure you had an impact on several.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Positive impact.
So, yes. But I enjoyed what I did, and, the city helped me a lot here and there, but, things, they finally, took the building from me, so I just called it quits, and that was it. And then Carlos was trying to pick it up, but,
Yeah.
they took him away from us.
Yeah.
Because Carlos had a lot of potential of bringing a lot of pros in and all that,
Yep.
Put him at his place and that, he built his place to try to bring pros in and all that, and have a lot more pro fights here and all that, but,
Whatever.
and then Natasha's dad used to help us a lot. He
Oh,
used to set up a lot of fights and all that, and her dad was a kickboxer.
Mhm.
He was involved a lot with us in that. getting things set up here to have profiles and all that.
Right.
But it's a lot of work and that's it.
Time for you to rest. Good job, Charlie, thank you.
Thank you. Again. Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. The next item on the presentations is the Housing Authority Finance Report.
Did you guys all receive it?
See,
in
Charlie,
your
thank
email?
you, appreciate you. I did, you did.
You did? Okay, did everybody get it in their email last night? Sorry.
Yes, I did.
Did you need a copy, Mr. Councilman? Okay. So 2 months have lapsed, so we're in August. So this finance report is for August 31st, 2020. We are at 17% of the fiscal year. Dwelling rent, we are right along, a little bit low, but right along what we're expecting. We have billed out, and these are accruals, $91,781. For operating subsidy that's been allocated to this area, it is $116,497. Housing other income, a lot of reasons why this is so low is because of the moratorium on evictions for one, and for two, we're not charging any late fees or anything to that sense because of the new CDC regulations that just got passed. So we can't do any of that, so that is, not that they haven't been late or anything like that, we just can't charge them right now. And then the transfer that we have received, the $61,037 is from the repayment agreement. And I got to meet, they didn't let me have a copy of it, but I did get to meet with Mandy Griego, who is now going to be in field operations in DC. So the Mandy that we all know and love that used to work in our field office here in Albuquerque is actually going to be working for field operations through headquarters. So she's actually going to be one of the ones kind of overseeing the field offices, like the field office she was just in. So kind of writing the rules and doing all of that kind of stuff. She's shared a little bit with me. Before she left, she did share with me the repayment agreement. So we sat down and we went through all of it. Chris Coniers, who is the Office of General Counsel, is that what it's called? Yeah. OGC did state that in the repayment agreement, there's going to be favorable terms. I'm not allowed to, in a public meeting, of course, talk about them, but they will be favorable to the city's benefit. So that's something that if you guys feel we need to talk about later, you can, but we just can't discuss it in an open meeting right now. So that's looking up on that end too. And then as far as transferring in from capital fund, because of the transfer going on at the end of the year, what we're doing is only the expenses that we're drawing down from capital fund. We're not transferring any money into operations or drawing money into operations, so that we don't have a large bank account to be transferring over. So we're holding the reserves, instead of holding them in the bank account here, we're holding them in HUD's bank account. So they'll transfer it over when the Housing Authority does their official transfer. For employee expenses, so that was for revenues. If anybody has questions with revenues before I get to expenses, if not, I can take questions at the end. And then for the employee expenses, we had budgeted $123,693. Actual to date is $102,622. As you guys all know, I'm sorry, Mayor, Commissioners, I don't mean to say you guys. Both Terry and myself are funded through a different agency. So the employee expenses on this don't count for him or I. And then for operating expenses, it's $53,022. So those are a little low, but we haven't got the billing from Northern because we're still netting out the work that I did while I was a City of Las Vegas employee for Northern. We're still netting all of that out, and then once that comes to a point, then we'll start billing. any questions.
Questions, Commissioner? No?
Pretty thorough.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Commissioners. The next item on the presentation is discussion, the update on transfer to Northern Regional Housing Authority, our Executive Director.
And on the transfer, we're, all documents at this point for the Las Vegas portion of the transfer have been submitted to us, with the exception of the title search, and that's something that we done after the fact. As you know, we're transferring also the Raton Housing Authority into the Northern Region also, and we're having a little bit of, we're having a little snag there because of the structure is a little different than the City of Las Vegas Housing Authority. So our attorney with Northern Regional had some different things she wanted because we are standalone units. So I have to meet with the commission, Russian City Commission on Tuesday and get jurisdictional approval for them to operate within the city of Las Vegas. And then that we can do that, and get that letter from our attorney and get that resolution from the city of Raton. And it'll be in HUD's hands, and they'll do the review and decide if there's anything else they need at that point. I've done the transfers before, and I don't anticipate them needing anything else at this point. So they'll review it, then it goes to Washington at that point, and then make a decision. If there's any declaration issues from that, that's not really right.
And we did meet with the city attorney, city manager, HR director, and IT, as well as finance director, to go over some of the transitions that are going to be occurring. So we do have a set date of the last date for the employees to be City of Las Vegas employees is September 25th. September 26th, Northern Regional will be assuming responsibility for the employees. So that will be the date there. And then for the IT services, that'll be October 14th and 15th. That'll take place. And we've worked that with our IT and our phones as well.
And that's all employees?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, with the exception of Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie will be a City of Las Vegas employee until September 30th.
Okay.
So he'll be, and that's his date of retirement. So there was no point in transferring him
Right.
for 5 days.
And I have met with the staff and vetted any questions they've had. If any individual had an issue, I sat down with them individually and, wanted to make sure that everybody was comfortable with what's going on and answer any questions they might have.
Okay. Were there any concerns?
Not that they've voiced, they've had some concerns and we've been able to, answer them, but just, how the personnel policies, vacations, how that's going to accrue, that kind of stuff is what they're concerned with. And like I've told everybody, nobody's going to get hurt in that.
Is it the same retirement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It is going to be a different plan. We are going to be on the municipal plan 4, and the city is on the municipal plan 3.
Okay.
So as far as the 3%, that's ongoing, but the employee portion, like I think I've mentioned before, the employee portion is a little bit more. So we'll try to do that for both. Raton's is a lot more, and Las Vegas is a little bit more. So we're going to try to work that with the salaries to try to compensate it a little
Okay.
bit. And then the insurances will actually be almost exactly the same. That's what we were trying to tell them. And I think, I know we got a little bit more eased when we did speak to Donna, because they'll be on the city's insurance because it's prepaid for 1 month. So for the month of October, they'll be paying and doing their prepayment for November. And the payments that they made to the city for October, they'll still be on the city's insurance until the end of October. And then on November 1st, they'll get they should, by the 1st of November, they should have all of their new cards and everything like that to start as a Northern. So they'll have and it's the exact same insurance. We're giving them the new employee packet that should mirror everything that we're doing. And I was working with Ms. Griego on the policies themselves, and I think we have a good place to go to, we're updating Northern's personnel policy to mirror a lot of the stuff that the city does, a lot of the stuff that Raton does. We're just trying to make sure that we incorporate all of it all together so that no employee gets hurt, as well as, the employees that haven't gotten these kind of benefits are also going to be receiving them now.
Gotcha.
Other than that, that's, you know, how, any questions you all might have, I'm glad to answer them.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Romero?
I just had one question on the transfer is, you mentioned it has to go through DC. Is there like a presentation that we have to do up there or?
You know, any transfers I've been involved in, they've pretty much been, you know, did this transfer go through? The field office gets information, we really don't, but we can do something, you know, we'd like to do something like that. We can do that with our regional chair and our regional board, and do something like that. I'll be glad to do that.
And this was one of the recommendations from the DC office when the evaluation had came back. Well, it was to transfer, but this consolidation, I like to call it a consolidation instead of a transfer because we are bringing a lot to the table as far as staff and that kind of stuff. So I think with their recommendations, I don't see any hiccup in it, but like I did say, it's also helping the repayment of those houses. I can't talk about it in open meetings, but that's all. That's something that if you guys would like to speak about, we could. An executive.
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question.
Yes, you know.
I have a question regarding your monthly report, August 2020, not the financial, but the occupancy application and housing management. Just for, since I'm new to this, the council position, I was looking at your number of outstanding work orders. Is that a pretty common number for each month, or
No,
what is there an average that you
no,
have?
this time, because we're doing only emergency work orders.
Okay.
So anything that's non-emergency right now is kind of put on the back burner until the COVID situation is cleared out. But normally, we try to, everything, I consider everything an emergency.
Okay, and do you keep track of the amount of time it takes to complete a work order?
Yes.
And what does that usually average?
It depends on what kind of work order
Okay.
it is. If somebody's locked out of the house, then it's going to take, same day,
Okay.
15 minutes, that kind of thing. If it's a,
The water heater, say, it may take 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
it depends on the severity of the work order.
Okay.
And they are, at that, we are expense the employees' time and any materials that they're using on that work, into that work.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the Housing Director's Monthly Report.
And as you can see, it's, I don't know if you have any questions regarding the monthly report. I went over the transfer information. Anything new that came from us to my house regarding the report?
Is there anything in the report that you need to alert us about, sir?
Not particularly, it's pretty straightforward. They did finish the stucco project and working on soft and fascia. And then also the log road issue. Well,
the units that we're going to be able to put up.
oh, yeah. So we'll be adding, 10 more units to the stock, which is a good thing off the waiting list. Go down some. In addition to that, I know that they're replacing some fencing and there's a lot of stuff going on that is really a good improvement to the properties and going to make, it's all about curb appeal, honestly.
Yeah. Have you had an opportunity to look at all the units in all the neighborhoods?
I have.
You have?
I have not been in a lot of them, but I have, at one time, I actually did a needs assessment, fiscal needs assessment for the units here in Las Vegas. I worked for an architect out of Albuquerque. He hired me as an independent to come in. He had done a needs assessment, and they wanted somebody to come in with housing background to verify his needs assessment. So basically, be sure that we're all on the same page. Well, I'm pretty familiar with the units, with what they need, what kind of shape they're in. Quite honestly, they're in pretty good shape compared to a lot of them I've seen. I've done needs assessments and energy audits for 1 year. I did 15 housing authorities within the state, so I've seen a lot of them in the state of New Mexico.
Mr. Ulibarri?
Mr. Buckop,
Yes, sir.
you said that these are almost all the units. Did you have any concerns from the tenants that are staying there, or you talk to them about it, saying that you're the new director or anything like that? Or are you having some kind of a, like Barbara or Natasha, take you and meet some of the tenants there and see if they have any concerns?
So we did change the newsletter so that it has Mr. Baca's name on there, but because of the instructions we've gotten from Housing and Urban Development on how we have to go about the social distancing with our tenants, we haven't actually, for their safety, we have a lot of elderly, we have a lot of caretakers, we have a lot of people that have compromised immune systems, so that we haven't even gotten into the units for inspections. So we haven't actually physically done anything. Normally, we would have had like a meet and greet or something like that, but due to this present circumstances, that's kind of something that we aren't able to do at this time.
And we will, as soon as we can, we'll do something with the residents. And introduce myself and introduce my staff, have Brett on the staff at Cal's also, because we're going to be working together as a team.
Because I'm pretty sure there's some concerns on some of the,
I'm sure there is. It's a scary thing for it's a big change for the residents and for the staff also. But we hope it's all positive. I'm sure there's going to be some hurdles, because it's anytime you have something like this, there's hurdles. But ultimately, we hope to provide better service and quicker service to them. And that's what it's all about, trying to take care of our tenants. I look at them as customers, because without them, we wouldn't have jobs. That's try to teach my staff also.
thank you.
Montoya?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Buckup,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you're aware, but we do have a homeless problem in this community.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of it's got to do with the Riverwalk.
Right.
And I think in behalf of the city, we're gonna be treating it just like any other park and following the ordinance.
Right.
Does Washington consider any of these homes for homelessness people, an emergency or anything like that? Because they have nowhere to go.
Right.
And apparently they don't have relatives, they don't have the means, and a lot of them need help with identification and so forth.
And
But
it's the same thing, unfortunately, it's the same issue we have in our home also, trying to do something with them. There's nothing we can do with the housing code necessarily ourselves, because of background checks and they do have to meet the criteria. But, we might be able to partner with somebody and help somebody there.
Yeah, and the CDC, that new thing that came out with the CDC that was about a week old, I think now, or 2 weeks old, with the moratorium that was passed and the stuff that they did, it was actually to prevent homelessness. So that's why we have that moratorium on any sort of extremely low-income houses that we can't evict due to non-payment of rent regardless of financial situation. So unless it is a situation of criminal or nuisance or lease violation, which is still going to be a fight in court, we cannot do any sort of evictions, and that was HUD's way of trying to work on the homelessness initiative. They do have these homelessness programs that until we are completely transferred and we are one large housing authority, then we can probably start to apply for. But right now in our current state, until January 1st, we can start it, and hopefully the grants will still be open by then. But that's as soon as they transfer us over, that's when we'll be considered a large housing authority, and we can actually apply for this throughout the whole northern New Mexico.
Right now, we're not, because we're all too small.
yeah, because it's become a real issue, and we have a large number of citizens that are really pumped up about fixing up the Gallinas River and doing some improvements there,
Sure.
and for all ages of people to come and enjoy. And I don't know what the solution is, but I would hope that housing would be able to
Well-
somehow assist in some kind of programs or whatever, because the
something-
Salvation Army or the Samaritan House,
Right.
they're giving him out services, and they're even giving him out tents, which is, I don't
The
know,
answer to really-
I don't think that's the answer. So, I don't know.
There is some organizations in house that we work with, that do deal with the homeless, and so hopefully we can expand some of their services into the areas. I mean, like I say, it's not even a problem here, it's a problem in Raton.
But is that through housing?
No, it's an independent group, so, you know, we can partner with them and work with them to, you know, they can come to us and we can be that liaison, help some of those people.
But do you guys partner at all with the Samaritan House here in town?
We
We
can't.
can.
Can't?
Our hands are tied because of the funding source that we're paid through.
But with that other organization from Taos, you can?
No, we can partner with them and work with them, but we can't share any funding with them.
And, well, in partnering in a sense of showing them a list that we have, or people that we've denied, or something like that they can work with, that's the kind of partnering we can do. We can't do like consolidated efforts, but we can share resources if the people that are applying allow us to do that. Or if the people that are talking to them allow them to give us their information. So there's a lot of red tape that has to get crossed before we can actually help them. And a lot of times, we've taken applications to people. There's one that's right behind our units that I think they're in a camper trailer. And our housing managers went and took them an application. I don't know if they ever even returned it. And like, we gave them instructions and they were like, you know, we know it's COVID, we know we're not supposed to go talk to them, but can we please go give them an application? And so they did, and it's just a matter of the follow through from them. We can't help people, and we do, like for fair housing, we help them as much as we possibly can, but if we can't get participation on their side, we can't do anything from there, because we did do that with the Samaritan House. We give them all applications, we give them stacks of applications to have them send them to us, you know, because our 4-bedroom, our 5-bedroom waiting list, our 3-bedroom waiting list, we don't have very many people on there. So we give that to them so that they can, you know, put them on the waiting list. And a lot of times they'll tell us as well, they don't return it, we can't even help them. So if we can't get the paperwork to put them into the system, we can't actually, and a lot of these people don't want their names in anything.
Right.
So it's hard to help them.
And what we find, because we do get a lot of people, you know, especially traveling, they'll want to go to Colorado because of the gold. And so we get a lot of them in Raton and families even, and they'll end up in Raton homeless. And, you know, we'll help them with their deposits as far as making payment plans for them. We'll go out and we'll give them guidance to churches and nonprofit organizations that help them with their deposits with the utilities. You know, we really work hard to try to keep people off the street.
Because it seems,
The tough part, like Natasha's talking about, is you're dealing with, in a lot of cases, individuals or, let's say, you know, a male, you know, male by himself. It's really hard to get them to, and they're very
Accept
paranoid.
help.
They're not trusting.
Yeah, a lot of them don't want
And
the
they don't
help.
want the help.
Yeah.
They're like, we're fine on our own, we don't need you. And so
So-
it's kind of
Okay.
hard to break that barrier from them.
on another note, Mr. Baca, have you guys talked about the Mills Avenue property? The future of that?
The one with
Yes. In what regards?
As far as the future of it?
The future
Or
of
has there
it,
been any conversations?
in the 5-year
No.
plan,
The
that's what we
five-year plan
currently
is,
do.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing, not at this point, we don't have anything, you know, immediate, you know. I'd like to get a little more into the workings of the housing authority, you know, before I start making, you know, big plans like that. But, you know, one of the reasons like, that we do want to do this merger is because it makes us larger, it makes us more desirable for development, in here and wherever it's needed. So hopefully that Mills property, we can eventually put some, you know, some development in that area and build some new homes for people, new apartments or homes.
Thank you, Mr. Baca. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair
Pardon?
and Commissioners. The next item is the Commissioner's report.
Mr. Ulibarri?
Mr. Baca, can you take a look at the wall that's on Hudson Street Boulevard?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, so I'm sorry.
on the Hot Springs Boulevard housing. There's a lot of that's between the housing and the Daylight Donuts. I talked to Barbara and Natasha about it. I think they've been working on something to see if they could do something with it. Can you take a look at it and see if you could do something with it? It's almost a foul, and the property owner is real concerned about be an accident, or it could cost the city, or it could cost the landowner. But if the girls could take you and show you what I'm talking about, they'll give you the
Yes, I
information on
am,
it.
and so is Mr. Aaron.
Yeah, I'll get over, next week I'll be here, here next week, we'll look at it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Thank you. Barbara?
The next item is the executive session. No need for executive session? The next,
Mr. Romero?
I just had one question. If we wanted to get those numbers, what would that be pertaining to? Would that be pending litigation or?
What would that be for executive session to talk about the contract? Would that be pending?
Yeah. Pending litigation and personnel.
Either pending or C, which is matters pertaining to discussion of sale and acquisition of real property.
It would probably be C.
Does it preclude you from giving any information to any particular counselor out of executive session?
I don't have that information.
Okay. What's the desire of the council, please?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Make a motion to enter executive session for matters pertaining to the discussion of sale and acquisition of real property as permitted by section 10-15-1.
There's a motion on the floor for executive session. Second, please. Second by Mr. Montoya, please. Roll call.
Commissioner Uriari?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya?
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero, a second by Commissioner.
Thank you.
Please stand, motion carries.
executive session, we'll discuss action was taken.
Thank you.
Mr. Make a motion to return to...
Is a motion to go back into regular session?
I believe that's what we had discussed.
We were,
Okay, I'm sorry, the first was Romero. Are you ready?
yes.
Mayor Montoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Ewing?
Yeah.
Commissioner Rivera?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero, is that Commissioner, are you ready? If I got that right.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairman, motion carried.
Thank you, Bob.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn, second by Mr. Barrio. Roll call.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Ewing?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Thank you, Chairman, motion carried.
Thank you for everything, Tasha. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for going to bat